Hello, hi, my name is Gustav. I figured I will be recording a quick little demo of the shared game timer for awSHUX. But if you want to talk to me, then just go to the shared game timer room on Discord and send me a message, and if I'm not there, I'll respond later. And I'm happy to give this demo one-to-one or to a group of people so we can have a conversation and talk about it, and you can ask any questions you want. But for those who arrive when I'm not there, and just want to see a pre-recorded message, this is it. Alright, so what you're seeing on the screen right now is the shared game timer. You get to it by going to sharedgametimer.com. And over here you can then look at all the features that the shared game timer have. It is horrendously and grotesquely over-engineered so that it can do a lot of things. But I'm just going to go through the basics right now. And I'm going to also focus a little bit on online gaming, because figuring this is an online gaming convention, you might want to do some online gaming. So first of all, to start a new game, you just go to the home screen and you put in a name for your game. So let's say awSHUX and create timer. And that will take you to this screen where you basically join yourself. So you pick a name and a player color. So I'll go with purple and join the game. You get to the game creation screen, and here is where you will invite other people to join the game. And all they have to do to join the game is that they go to this link here. So you can copy the link to your clipboard and then paste it in a chat, or you can use the share link here that brings up a little menu for sharing via your device. Or you can, if you're sitting around the table, you can show this QR code, and then everyone can just scan that QR code, which basically just takes them to this link. So since I don't have anyone to play with right now, I am going to start a incognito mode, which just opens up another browser that isn't connected to the other tab, and type in that link. And it will load up the game. I'm going to say that his name is Don, and he's going to be green, and join the game. So I'm going to go into split screen mode now, so that you can see. So on the left we have the guy who's creating the game, on the right you have someone who joined. So they're a little bit different because the game creator has the link for inviting new players and can also add hot seat players. So they are people who aren't joining the game via their own device. You can just add another player. Click on its little bubble to pick a color. And you see whatever I do on this side here immediately is reflected over here. So imagine that there are two different computers. The people waiting to join the game can see what the game creator is doing. So a little bit further down we have the game setup. So this is where you can choose to, for example, have divide the game into rounds. So you have a few different options of when a round finishes. It can be when everyone has passed, for example. That's a popular option. And you can say that the player order is going to automatically update at the end of a round. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip this VP and money transactions. I'll talk about that later. The audible time reminders is just, it will beep at you, or it will speak to you at certain minute intervals to remind slow players that they're taking a bit long. So I'm going to say that the first audible reminder should be after 3 minutes, after that 2 minutes after that, and after that every minute. And you'll see here there's a little helpful minute count here to illustrate when the reminders are going to be played. So when you have all players have joined the game and you're happy with the rules you picked, you can change the rules later on mid-game, but just the first setup, you hit the start game. And we're now at the start game menu. We are actually in the game now. On the right hand side you see this little tutorial thing pop up, because it's a new player, it's a new person who hasn't been using the site before. So you can click through the little tutorial here to get familiar with what it does. And if you don't want to read it right now, you can say continue later. And you can bring it back by clicking the little question mark at the bottom. But I'm going to hide it for now. So the simplest way to use the game is just you say you want to start the game.
Your turn.
And then now it's Don's turn. And when he's done with his turn, he can click End Turn. Notice here that I get a little confirmation dialog here. It's basically the left-hand player is Gustav. But Gustav can still do things on behalf of Don. Say maybe he left the room and forgot to end his turn. But I need to basically confirm that, yes, I want to do something on behalf of that other player. If I cancel that, and on the right-hand side, now the right-hand side is Don. When he presses End Turn, it just happens immediately. Remember that Matt was a hot seat player that we just added without him having joined the game via his own device. So anyone can press Matt's button because he's probably sitting there using somebody else's phone, for example. And that's it. So if I want to pass my round here, I can click Pass instead of End Turn. You can hear the sound effects. If you want to turn the sound effects off, just click Mute Sounds. I'm going to do that in both left and right. And now it's a bit more quieter. Notice that I passed this round, so I'm being skipped in the turn order. And eventually, when everyone has passed, it automatically goes into what's called admin time. So admin time is this other play tile here, which basically is that tracks time for the game when it's not a single other player's turn. So for example, in between rounds, you might be doing round cleanup and stuff like that. That time is not given to a single player, it's admin time. And you can enter admin time at any moment as well. Say you want to look up a rule, or you're having an auction mode or something like that. You can hit admin time. I'll show you that in a second. But basically, to start the next round, the first play in turn order has this button to start the round. If you want to change the turn order, then you go down to here, reorder players. And you can either say that you want to rotate players clockwise or counterclockwise, or you can just drag and drop to reorder the turn order any way you want. Click OK, and that's updated. So now Gustav is the first player, so he can start round 2. So I'll do that. So I have the end turn button, the pass button, and then over here on the admin tile, I have start mid-turn admin. So say I want to argue about a rule, and this is not really my turn, if we need to clarify something. I can hit start mid-turn admin, and it goes into admin time. And then when we're all done, the player whose turn it is can resume the turn. And that's the basics of how the admin timer works. Above and beyond that, there's more advanced usages. I want to show 2 of them, which is important for online gaming. So, the first one is, and the most important one perhaps, is the... I'm going to move this over here. So the shared game timer has a Chrome extension that will allow you to put the game controls over any other browser. For example, if you're playing Tabletopia on the browser, you can get all your gaming controls over there. So you don't have to look at the shared game timer tab. And the way you do it is you install the extension, and then you pin it here. The link to the extension, by the way, you can find that on the home page under online gaming. Here you can read all about it, and then down here you have the installation instructions. You basically go to the Chrome extension page, install it, and then you go here, you pin it so that you have this icon in the toolbar. And once you've done that, I'm going to go back to the game. Here's our awSHUX game. Here's all the games that I played using the game timer. So the way you do it is you click the little symbol here, and then you also press the little shared game timer symbol on the game that you want to activate. So if I click here again, I disconnect the Chrome overlay from this game, and now on the right hand side it says that it hasn't detected the game. If I press here, it shows up. And it adds basically 2 or 3 things. On the left hand side we see the turn order. and the numbers here is the percentage of time that that player has taken during the whole game. So I've currently have taken 36% of the time. Now I've taken 41% of the time. And this is the turn order, so it's me, and you can see that this bubble is a bit bigger because it's the current player. So instead of pressing end turn here, I also have access to my buttons up here. So I can press end turn here, and that finishes my turn. You can see that it's now Matt's turn. And the buttons disappear here because they only show the buttons that are relevant to you. So I'm the purple player, so I will only see the buttons up here when it's the purple player's turn. So that's a good way also of seeing when it is your turn, because if you see the buttons up there, it's your turn. You need to do something. So I'm going to end turn there, and end turn for Don, and it's back to me, and my buttons appear again. So this time I'm going to pass, and you can see here that the bubble now is this flattened bubble to show that the purple player has passed around. So that's all it does. It just means that now I don't have to have this tab open. I just open up Tabletopia like this. And it works on any browser. So Tabletopia or Board Game Arena or any other browser-based game platform, it will work there too. The other thing I want to show is if you go into game settings here. So this is where it's the same menu as we had when we created the game, but here we can change, for example, the audible reminders or the way that the turn order is going to be updated at the end of a round. We can change all of those things mid-game. What we can't do is add more players or remove players. Once the game has started, the player count is fixed. But the one thing I skipped before was this VP and money transactions. So if I activate that, basically what this does is that it adds this star that stands for victory points, and a little coin symbol that's for money. So what we can do now is if during Matt's turn he gets 5 victory points, you can click the little star, you can say he gets 5 victory points, press enter, and there's a little thing here showing that the orange player has received 5 victory points. And we can also click this little bank log icon here, which brings up a log of all of the transactions that have been done in the game. And if I restart the Chrome overlay here, oh no, I need to restart it here. You'll see that it also shows the current number of victory points and money that each player has on the Chrome overlay. We can also do transactions between players. So say that Matt steals 5 coins from the purple player. You can say that he wants to trade with the purple player Gustav. He wants to take 5 coins from Gustav. If I click reverse here, all it does is that it negates the 5. So now he's paying 5 coins to Gustav. Well, that sounds better to me. So I'm going to click yes. And the symbol here shows that the orange player gave 5 coins to Gustav. It also shows up here, and in the log. So why would you want to use this? Well, you wouldn't want to use it in a tabletop game because we all like to touch the components and do things like that. But in an online setting, some games, Arkwright for example, there is so much money transactions going back and forth all the time, and to basically take a 50 note, drag it with your mouse over, and then taking 2 10 notes back, and all of that stuff. Oh, there's the audible reminder. That can be really fiddly with a mouse. So we found that having a way to do that inside the game timer just speeds up the game a little bit. And it also helps with when people go, oh wait, did I take the 5 coins I should have at the start of each round? Oh, I can't remember. Well, you have a log of all of the transactions you've done, so you can go in here and see that on Matt's turn 5 in round 2, no, he didn't take the 5 coins at the start of his round. Or no, wait, he did, because look, he gave 5 coins to Gustav. Whatever it might be. It's a good way of double checking and not forgetting things. So, those were the 2 main things that was important for online gaming. And this video is getting a little bit long now, so I will wrap it up there. I will say that if you're playing around a table, one good way of reducing the number of screens that you have around the table, maybe you want to get rid of all the phones, is that you can go into something called presentation mode. So if I go to additional actions here and go to presentation mode, what that does is that it fills the whole screen with the current player's color and a name and just some basic information like how long he has taken this turn. And then you can end the turn and it changes the whole screen to a different color. So now you can take this phone and you can take it off the table, put it on the windowsill or something, and then you can use little remote controls to control the game timer to end your turn and things like that. And there's several different remote controls that I support. And if you want to look more into it, no, I don't want to finish the game. Then go to remote control here. And I have a little dedicated video for this, but you have these cheap little selfie remote clickers that you can use. You can use a Bluetooth headset, and the play, pause, skip song buttons will do the same thing. You can attach a little Bluetooth gamepad, and I have an example here that works really well. This little blue gamepad here works really well. It's super tiny. And you can also hook up little Bluetooth LED devices, Bluetooth LE, low energy devices, to do things like I built this little microcontroller board, soldered it up to a Bluetooth microcontroller with a button, so the players can basically, this will light up with the current player's color, and when you press it, it passes the turn to the next player. So all of that is too much for me to talk about right here, but if you want to find out more about it, just go to sharegametimer.com, and then on the remote control, I'll be publishing some guides and stuff like that there. Right, so as I said, this was just a very quick, but not too quick, intro. The game timer can do a ton of stuff, speech synthesis and all kinds of stuff, but if you have any questions for me, or if you want or feedback or whatever it might be, I will be here on awSHUX awaiting your questions. Thank you so much for watching this, and yeah, find me at shared-game-timer room on Discord. All right, thank you, and goodbye. Happy gaming.